So you want to have some sort of flexibility here for VG as well, but it does feel like they've kind of locked themselves into their two supports. So perhaps look for cores that shouldn't mind facing up against Lina, whether as a pause 4 or even as a mid laner. You just want something that deals with her fine, but it's such a value pick for SAG. I think getting that burst damage out fast is going to be great, especially since you're looking at the living armor to cause issues there, so you're just going to burst right through that, and that alone just lets the Lina work her magic quite early on.
Well, Vici Gaming, they seem they're having a bit of think about where they're heading with this draft. That may be due to the fact that Sparking Arrow, they have such a flexible draft going on already. Be kind of hard to know what they're up to. Don't want to fall into any trap. Vici Gaming definitely, I believe, respect the potential that could come out of this team. There's always a lot of there's a lot to. You've got to consider the fact that there's not much known about SAG in comparison to teams like LGD and IG. You don't know much about what kind of strategies they like to run yet. So Vici do have to be a little bit careful, but they do go for a very safe offlane in-center war runner now. So not really revealing too much themselves, just keeping it fairly standard. I suppose if SAG really wanted to, they could think about this for a long time now.
Remaining.
They've got a lot more reserve time, so they can tick that down. I think the Centaur into Rubik can be a bit tricky. Like, Rubik will almost always grab that Stampede if you're not careful. So your initiation here from VG, I do want to start with the Cent. I think you'd best start off with the Treant first. Never start with Stampede, otherwise, if Rubik's around, you're going to be playing against SAG with Stampede potentially, and that could really work against you in that case. Even if right now SAG doesn't quite have the best team fight, it's really riding on that Rubik, and there are so many potent spells to steal from VG's lineup, so they're just giving a little bit more value to that early Rubik pickup here.
Yeah, they definitely are. But at the same time, you can't just pick heroes with no spells, right? Like you've got to draft something. So we'll see Vici that they're just waiting for Sparking Arrow now, who are trying to make their own fourth pick, and this should reveal a lot more about their draft and what position these heroes are playing in. I still do believe it is a pos 3 Abaddon. I don't think it's like pos 5.
No, it's not magical as it once was. Without the self-deny, you just lost so much of its impact as a support. Like, it can still sustain, but you're gonna have to refresh with a death, and that just gives a little bit to the lane, a little bit more than you'd want. So the value is certainly mitigated in that sense, and the range for the heal spam is slightly less, so you have to be much closer to your core, which can kind of drag away from that. I like the Terrorblade pickup for SAG though. There's really not quite much in VG to deal with that. Like, the solution they have is a Phoenix magic damage. That's going to be a constant. VG does immediately pick up the Zeus, so they do have a way of consistently going through that Terrorblade's early armor now by just going magic. It's a strong response in that sense. You do have to watch out, of course, Rubik. I mean, I keep going back to the Rubik, but there's just so much value here for the Rubik. Like, as long as you get your level 6 at a decent time, I can't see any situation where SAG is going to be lacking any sort of control just off the back of the Rubik and potentially the Lina support.
Assuming dead.
Assuming it's not dead.
Yeah. Vici Gaming, they do finish off with a Troll, which is always interesting to me. You do see these Troll picks quite a bit against Terrorblades, and you'd assume that you wouldn't really want to go Troll because Terrorblade has such a high base armor. I suppose in some sense, Vici, you're probably thinking, look, we're not even interested in trying to deal with this Terrorblade with the Troll. We're going to use the Zeus for that. The Ensnare can be quite nice up against that Terrorblade as well, I suppose. I never commented on the Terrorblade itself as well, John. I just hate seeing this hero in the meta right now. I think it's just so detrimental to your team when you have an ability that your hero cannot play without, and you have to revolve around that the whole time. How many times have we seen Terrorblades being picked up And it's just every time they need to have meta before they can do anything. Every time meta's off, guess what happens? The opposing team takes a Roshan, or they'll take a tower, or they'll go high ground. Every time. But you locked yourself into this metamorphosis timing. What are they going to choose
sensitive.
the DP after this? The DP's banned. Thank God for that.
I mean, that's the tendency we see with a Terrorblade, right? Like we always see Terrorblade DP for push and team fight. The moment the Terrorblade plays from behind, it gets super hard. That's the one thing. They do pick up the Tidehunter instead, so that is still a massive cooldown. You've still got to worry about the Ravage timing, and that can kind of play against you. Your big setups here are Tide and Rubik. Really does look to be Rubik Abaddon support duo, if I'm not wrong, and a mid Alina. Yeah, it's I mean, look, it can still keep your course alive. It can still be super annoying in lane. It's just not as annoying as it once was. I don't think it's got a strong enough presence as is now, but if you play around it perfectly, then you can make it work. I'm not sure what dual lane you'd want with the Abaddon. Abaddon Terrorblade doesn't sound amazing. Abaddon Tide could possibly be better, but it's just tricky for the Abaddon, right? Like, his range for damage nukes is kind of low now at level 1 because it does scale. So
it's got a Rubik Tide. Like, you got Anchor Smash Spadebolt. Like, that's just too much minor damage to not have. But
yeah, then you're stuck with like Abaddon Terrorblade. You can keep your Terrorblade alive, but there's certainly not much after that, unless you get like an early level in your slow and just run in with Metamorphosis. That's one way to make that work.
I mean, look, I'm on the same boat as you. I just don't think Abaddon is pos 5 anymore. But SAG disagree, and we're gonna find out who's right in all this. SAG going to be running a very interesting lineup, a bit old school for my taste, but I don't mind seeing a bit of old school sometimes. Vici game, much more standard, much more meta. We have seen a bit more pop up in the current meta as well, John. Especially in the Chinese scene, I believe it was FY running the Living Armor build on Treant Protector, and it's kind of infuriating to go up against, right? Because you deal some damage to a tower, and then there's this max living armor just healing it back up all the way to full HP. You think you've killed a hero, you thought wrong. DY is going to heal them up all the way. It's just, it can be really infuriating to have to play against, and I suppose we'll have to wait and see what DY does opt to do on that tree. But it has slowly made its way back into the current meta.
It's just, I think there's a lot of value in having that. As you mentioned, of course, the D push is great, at least installing out the push. With a hero like it's just Eurus hit 6. Right? Like, you living armor when he goes into battle trance, he's going to be recovering a lot of. He's just ready to jump in after it. So that's certainly one way to play around that. It's just disruptive, like, you know, having nature's guys running around that lane. It's never fun. You don't have to worry about Lina as well, since that is poor. So you're not gonna have that Lina clearing out trees in your lane. Should be easier for DY to get that harassment out.
Should. We should have an any time now. Just waiting on the side of Vici, and yeah, they'll give the go-ahead. It's going to be very important for Ori on that Zeus to have a good game as well. Yeah, he can't really afford to lose his lane too hard, especially considering they are really solely relying on him to deal with the Terrorblade. So it's going to be very, very important we see a decent Ags timing if he does opt to go for that, which I'm sure he will. Get a nice Ags going for yourself, just snowball from there if you're Ori.
Yeah, it's a really old school mid matchup. You talked about old school drafts. Lina Zeus is really not something we see too often anymore. Like, this takes me back, but 3-4 years ago? It feels like it's been that long since both of these heroes really shined in mid, but it's always a treat to see that classic matchup.
Back in my day, John, back in Dota 1, there was such a thing as Lich Smith. I don't know if you can remember that far back. I was part of a little bit of an amateur team, and my captain would always make me play Lich mid. Every time, without a doubt. He thought Chain Frost was the greatest ability in the game.
Oh man. That is super old school though. Like damn.
Good times. Felix gonna make a very early rotation down mid, but just double checking to make sure there's not a ward on the left side. Nice little trick you can do with these supports, just running behind the trees, and if there's hit by the tier 1, and if there's not, you won't get hit. Free money.
Definitely. You also have to know there is some movement coming out from VG, so they actually had Eurus walk down, and you see Yang walk top. So a bit of a lane swap there from VG, and they save out in their TPs. If they want to swap again, they're going to have a one-step advantage.
That's fair though, right? Like, you don't really want the Centaur up against the Tide, because that's just going to make it a dead lane, essentially. Like, it's just going to be two tanky boys the whole time, trading palm. You'd rather have Eurus down there, because he can actually be in range form and make OP God's life very, very hard. And people tend to underestimate damage Troll can deal even in the early stages of the game. Like, he is very frustrating to lane against.
Yeah, it is a fair bit, and his spells are fairly spammable as well. You know, it's very cheap, just like 50 mana, does decent damage at a good range, and with PYW around, the DOT damage is really good as well.
Yeah. So we do see Terrorblade and Red Panda up top on the pattern. They're going to make a case onto DY, but DY should be perfectly fine and just run into his trees. Red Panda's not giving up though. Very, very aggressive plays from the Sabaton. Just letting his presence be known up against this poor tree. That does go for the level 2 living armor, so the likelihood is he probably will go the living armor this game.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have to, because you're seeing the aggression from Red Panda. Every single time he's just gonna run up to you. Once he has a level in the curse, you're not gonna be able to run away. So you're gonna have to watch out for that. You want to just distract them away. You know, Yang is still finding good farm because Red Panda's more concerned about the tree, and that's exactly what you want.
Yeah, they make a bit of a jump up here onto Red Panda. He should be okay. Mid lane, or he's been having a very, very rough time on the Zeus. So he continues to take a lot of harassment from DD on the lane. But that's kind of to be expected. In fact, he hasn't even gone for 1 point in Arc Lightning, which is also sort of the way that the Zeus is just played these days, right? Like, you just don't tend to waste your time with Arc Lightning, but rather just have Lightning Bolt to spam out, and DD now going to be the one to force to salve up, and I have a feeling one of these two heroes is going to die pretty darn soon.
Yeah, it's really just down to a regen game so far. This is hurting Ori so much more. Doesn't even, nowhere near the bottle, is flying out a new set of regen, and DD still has some on hand, and has that magic stick as well. So every single time Ori tries to trade, just more burst heal potentially coming out for DD.
Well, I love if something came out the top lane. DY was there with the Vice as well, just to slow everyone down, and it's just such a potent combo. Like, Yang and DY, they can dish out so much damage so quickly. This combination of Tree and Centaur. Well, the Terrorblade is still doing a great job of getting some CS in this somewhat difficult lane.
Yeah,
it get harder as time goes on.
It's all right for God King. It's not as good as Eurus though. So you compare the deficit between those two pos ones, it's certainly a bigger win for VG. And even Yang's farm is a lot better than God King's. If you want to get that early Terrorblade farm, they've got to have a lot more presence for Red Panda. He's just really keeping track of DY. That's it.
But does DY really mind this?
No.
Like,
fine. Like, this is exactly what he wants.
Because you don't mind having the Centaur against Terrorblade. Like, we do finally see a metamorphosis being committed, and that was the first one of the game, by the way. 4 minutes in, he was holding it up. Now that he's left alone with Yang, he kind of has to do this, but you have living armor to come in anyway on Yang. He feels invincible, this man. So he may have to be a little bit careful about how much damage he takes, but we do finally see Red Panda making his way back up top.
Yeah,
you just can't afford to do that. Like, you can't afford to chase down DY across the map. 'Cause he can still help from across the map.
Yeah, it's not detrimental at all, and you are right about DY. He is going for the max level armor, so that sustain is coming out, and it is potent. Like, look at God King. Metamorphosis goes down, Yang just can kind of walk up, hoof stomp, and threaten with his presence. There's nothing that SAG has with his lane that can force the center out when Metamorphosis is down.
Literally nothing. In fact, you might see a very early rotation to the jungle now from the Terrorblade, because he has got those 3 raid plans now. So I imagine we probably will just see him just go jungle. There's no point staying in that lane any longer.
Yeah. He does. It's safer farm for him. There's nothing from VG to hunt down there. I guess DY could try rotation, but it is super risky for him to go in there. So he's just going to be getting his EXP as well. This should give Red Panda the benefit of some EXP gain, so we might see some early levels on him. And that should play in nicely.
Almost going down the Phoenix bot lane, but he does Icarus dive away in time, and we are still yet to see a first blood. Almost 6 minutes into the game. So many heroes falling very, very low, but not one dying quite yet. If I may point out as well, John, there is a pretty big disparity in the mid farm right now, and as I say that, DD, looks like he was going to get jumped, but he'll be okay. Felix is currently securing a power rune for him, and he'll have to take it himself. But there is quite a disparity between the CS of the laner and Zeus. It is pretty up there as well. Like, DD has doubled his last hits. That could be some source of concern here. So the top lane, Yang pops Stampede onto Red Panda, but he to try and go after the Abaddon. Didn't really work out in his favor at all. Now DY could be in a very peculiar situation, but they can't lock him down, so he'll just walk away. Just a very,
do force to rotation out from Felix. He TP's up top to help the Abaddon, so you've got OP all alone bot now on the Tide, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but yours has run away with the lane. 52 last hits, 16 denies compared to OP's 29-1. The only lane SAG is really won out on is that mid. Like, it's just Ori shut down, but everyone else is still having that good ride for VG.
And I guess with the Zeus as well, it's not like you need crazy amounts of farm. Like, he still does his job regardless of the items he has. They are going to spot up the Terrorblade in his jungle. PYW going to be very, very aggressive with the dive, but that Metamorphosis from the Terrorblade, he's just going to turn around.
I think he was looking for the Thunder Gods, or even the Living Armor,
or he was
not
out
quite
of
enough.
mana.
Yeah.
He was out of mana at the time.
Optimistic, and you know, he should have seen that. Like, you can check the status bar, that would show. So a free kill for God King. Gonna be very pleased with that, and that's our first blood. It's at 7.5 minutes.
Took a while, but interesting play by PYW. DD could get a little bit of trouble, or trying to really dish out some damage now. Another Icarus dive. It won't really be great, and they will not bother pursuing any further. So, PYW may still be suffering from PTSD from the last time. Just doesn't really want to commit to the dive anymore.
Yeah, I think this time around he did just want to secure the rune, so no regen for DD means no mana, nothing in the bottle, and he can't really sustain that lane as much as he'd want up against Ori.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
At what stage do you think Vici Gaming just needs to start running it at its SAG? In fact, speaking of running, there's a Stampede mid lane. Yang gonna go after Red Panda. He really doesn't like this Abaddon. Every time Yang sees Red Panda, he's like, ooh, I'm gonna Stampede in front of him. Just get that damn Abaddon out of my way.
Yeah, it's, I can understand. And the Abaddon has no tool to defend itself, right? Like, it casts a Photic Shield.
Tower is under attack.
It can't kill it well, so when it's stuck, it's just free food. It can't run away before you hit level 6. And that's just something VG is set to punish. And the one thing that VG has not quite kept up, it's like keeping a check on Terrorblades. God King has, beyond that laning, is the moment he switched to jungle has been uncontested. He's at level 7, has a decent amount of farm, doesn't feel like he's been slowed down all too badly, and this could be a major factor. Like, the magic damage you're seeing from Ori isn't quite up there because Ori doesn't have any items.
Really does. He's trying to finish Necro 1 right now. Does commit the Thunder God's Wrath, and that will actually scout out the side of SAG. So it was actually a decent Thunder God at the right time, but they're still going to lose DY, who was trying to take the outputs back at the minute mark, and he does get it, to be fair. Does have to think of his life away. In SAG, they just look to be even more aggressive now. Throwing illusions into the backline, trying to find Ori in the tree line, Ori would over, you have to get out of there. But they are going to lose the top Q1.
That should even out the map control for SAG. Oh.
Cool. Yeah, that's not great news.
Definitely not, and that is going to set him back. He's already fairly behind. And you look at the net worth, he's actually behind even OP, who didn't have the greatest time as well. So the timings on our Zeus not going to be great. And that is just going to slow down that presence. And Ari's even building up to the Necro book on Zeus just for the stats and the fresh potential the damage the creeps give you. So,
sorry to interrupt you, John. Why does Eurus have 2 magic wands?
That's a good
I've
question.
never seen that. Is that his? You would know if it's one of his mates. Is it else's?
No, it should show, right? The original owner if it's someone else's, and it should be grayed out. So he built 2 wands. Do you get to use them independently? I've never seen that.
I don't know. I don't think you would, right?
Like, I don't think it should, right? Like they should share a cooldown. So maybe if you prioritize just having more charges, that's useful. I don't know.
He may have accidentally bought it and to sell it in time, so he's just like, screw it, I'll just have it for extra stats. Like, that's the only thing that comes to mind for me.
Yeah, that's
what I've seen it.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I mean, maybe, you know what, it's fine, right? Like, despite that, Eurus is still farming up towards the Battle Fury at a pretty good pace. Top of the net worth board right now, 6k gold, 1 part away, and we all know how fast the troll can farm up by then, so I guess this is a weird choice. I mean, yeah, there you go. He popped 1 wand, and he drops it down, but you save the charges, so there's potential there for juggling your burst heal between 13 seconds as well, if you wanted to.
Wow, okay. So you can actually juggle magic sticks.
Yeah. If you wanted to. It just doesn't sound highly efficient, but you could.
It's like Turley does lose his life, or it finds him lose his life in return. I think Ori will be pretty satisfied with that trade. Just, you're not farming well anyway on the Zeus, and you're not really able to catch up very quickly, so you may as well just slow down the opposing pos once farm.
Yeah, that's really the only reason they picked up this Zeus anyway. Like, they needed magic damage for the Terrorblade, so they're still getting value. They're still finding the Terrorblade with that Zeus, and overall, not the worst thing for Ori. You've got to accept that the Zeus is just not going to be that super farmed, you know, Ag's refresher by 2025 kind of Zeus. It's been way too slow for start.
Yes, SG going to go back for that T1 tower that essentially had been healed up all the way by our Treant Protector. Vici Gaming will take a nice easy advantage and go for that bottom T2 trade now. And really one of the strengths of that Treant Protector is just being able to always find a better objective than the opposing team. And he's going to go back. He really wants a tier 2 tower, and they're finding so much more off the map, Vici Gaming.
Yeah, they definitely are. Like, they've managed to get to that point we see a lot of teams reach. T1 gone down mid, tier 2 gone down bot. This means VG has complete access to the bot lane. And that's exactly where they'll stay and farm. They don't really care for the top lane anymore. They're just going to be sapping away at a safe spot for God King, and that means he's going to have to play riskier, closer to an enemy tier 2 to find his farm.
The Australian T game, USA does land. Ravage even being committed, DY. From that Ravage goes for the overgrowth, but is going to die anyway. He really wanted to protect Yang. Well, he didn't really have to die. PYW now. Runs in with OP God, he just dig with his shovel while this is all going on. Sunray gonna come out now. He's surrounded by the Terrorblade, he also dies. No vision from the side of Vici Gaming to really know that Starluck was running in, and now DD, he's going to go in and try to find PYW, though LSA doesn't land, but they had the lift anyway. DD, with the DD, does find the kill.
Yeah, it's nice. 4 kills going the way of SAG and VG. Just kind of slipping up. They go in one by one, get punched hard, and SAG are finding kills they shouldn't be. VG needs to kind of coordinate a bit better. We haven't seen the big team fights break out from them. They've got the superior control with the overgrowth, they've got the egg, they've got the burst damage with the Zeus, they've got the stampede to set up, but they haven't been applying that pressure. And good on SAG for playing around their own time as well. Like, they've been consistent with the Ravage, even though it hasn't led to like the most amazing team fights for OP, but they have been active on the map. They've been buying space for God King. He's got his Yasha up, and he is just about 700 gold from the Manta, so the stats are building up. The burst damage we're seeing from Ori is starting to feel like it's lacking, because you have so much HP now coming out on God King that it's going to take a little bit more effort to actually burst this terribly down.
He's trying his best to just catch up and farm with that Necro 1, as Laguna Blade going to be there on PYW. So DD finding another nice easy kill for himself with Lena. That's going to set him up for that team. Again, you are going to have to deal with that living, which is going to be a little bit frustrating, but go for a fight. Overgrowth is going to be there on 3 heroes as Yang runs in, but LSA does land. He has popped a stampede, and the rest of Vici Gaming will join him in the mid lane. And again, just so much emphasis from Vici Gaming to make sure they protect that T1 mid tower.
Yeah, they are keeping it alive, and SA is showing a bit of its weakness. The push can be great, but you ride around the Metamorphosis and you ride around DD's raw right clicks as the Lina. That's it. And right now, DD's right click damage isn't at its peak. It takes a little bit more for the Lina to really start to shine. They do smoke up though. They notice an opening here.
That they do. They have the Ravage. Great time to fight their SAG. They won't have the Terrorblade nearby, but they don't necessarily want to be here anyway, as Phoenix will be able to Icarus dive away. Trying to get some D-wards up. They continue to try and protect this T1 mid tower, but eventually SAG are going to be able to find it.
And it does give SAG that control back on the map, so they've got safe options in the top jungle, a lot safer to stay in that area now. And they are also building up. Like, you'll take a look back at their Terrorblade. He is behind Eurus. That is because Eurus farms out.
Has been lifted up. LSA going to be there, but the Sunray heal may not be enough. The Ravage does connect onto PYW in the back, stopping the heals coming in, and they found another nice kill on that Centaur. Vici Gaming again just going to be trying to defend the best they possibly can. Ori though has been caught out by DD now on the lane up, and he's going to be a sitting duck. Very easy going. Oh, they found more. The lift for DY, they're just falling apart one by one.
Man, VG just being slowly dismantled, and they're not getting off the counterfights on. They're getting picked off way too often one by one. They've got to group up together much tighter and try to counterfight. They've got the overgrowth and egg. We haven't even seen PYW use that egg since he hit 6, and that was several levels ago. He's at level 9 now. We're at 18 and a half, 19 minutes in. We haven't seen those big team fights out from VG. They are just happy enough to play the farming game, but this gives so much more to SAG. Like, DD has the Yules and the Shadow Blade for right click and ability and self setup. You've got the Vlad's up on OP, which gives so much more value to himself and to our Terrorblade staying alive. And speaking of that Terrorblade, next item up is BKB, already done with the Ogre Act. So if you stall this game out a bit too much from VG, your burst potential for the Terrorblade completely disappears, right? Like, the Zeus is just not getting the value anymore.
We haven't seen a fight from Eurus yet. Like, Eurus is just I mean, it's fair enough. He's just farming on the troll. He's doing what he's meant to be doing, but no battle trans being popped yet. Just no real influence at all. His farm is fantastic. He's at almost 12k net worth. Vici Gaming, they have smoked up now, but it doesn't really seem like they're really willing to take this fight. They're gonna just stand on their high ground. Yeah, smoke wears off. They're not gonna bother initiating at all. They won't get for that 20-minute bounty rune, but see Red Panda, they aren't gonna bother trying to fight. Both teams actually both top bounty runes, but running just fine. But yeah, Vici Gaming again just playing the defense game.
Yeah, it feels like at some point though this defense game has to transition to something. Like, what major items are you still expecting? You're looking for a BKB on Eurus to allow it to stand in the middle, but then you're standing up against two cores which are better farmed than your equivalent cores in VGA. They put eggs into Europe, and that can pay off. They just have to be really on point with fight execution. You have to see overgrowth on top with the egg in the back, and the perfect staggering of those spells to get all the control to really just get the key pickoffs they need. And SJG, understanding that Vici's not at that point, goes straight to the Rosh pit.
Wow, top the meta, the free Rosh. Yeah, Vici Gaming just unwilling. Just keep playing the farm game. Fair enough. Perhaps just waiting for Eurus to have that BKB, and now he does. So they smoke up straight away. I think it's going to be a little bit too late though. Roshan still got them down slowly but surely. They are making their way there, but it's not quick enough. So they got to turn around and walk back the other way. They really wanted that BKB before they got involved in the team fight. Well, Yang, he's still going to make the jump though on the Abaddon. They still feel confident. Red Panda does get the borrowed time off to be fine. Yang still has the Stampede if he wants to really get in there and initiate the team fight, but looks like they just wanted to see if they could find an easy Abaddon pickup. And is that it really wasn't that easy.
Yeah, I mean, the Abaddon's been given enough.
Stomp is going to be there on DD. Let's get lifted up.
I mean, now you stomp on the Rubik as well. So, you know, that added control is there for Felix, and that does mean a little bit more caution is called for from VG. They're still playing pretty far forward, despite not having the Aegis themselves. So, looks like they are confident enough with that item burst on Eurus.
Yeah, just gonna bide their time. Do you see the BKB now on the turret
It's a big problem. You just don't have the damage. You're going to be depending on Eurus to man fight against this Terrorblade, who will just kind of ride through it. I'm not sure what we can really expect the outcome of that to be like.
Smoke is there from SAG. DY does scout it out. Of course, they know the train's around here somewhere. Not really worth trying to find him. In fact, maybe it was. DY now is scouting out for his team and does go for a 2-man overgrowth. But where's oh, it is up there. Double hoop stop, and Red Panda is fine again. He has borrowed time. Metamorphosis is popped, and now the Ravage comes out. It doesn't anyone though. Eurus have the BKB active. Now they're trying to turn around again. No, just kiting in and out, waiting for that perfect opportunity. Yang will jump in, but he has no follow-up. No one on his team is jumping in behind him. Like, Yang's finding all these great stuns, but there's just nobody willing to fight.
It's really the focus of VG. That fight was split around two areas. The ramp, these two ramps were really the focal points, and because of that split focus over here and here, they just couldn't really get the jump. And you even had some action here. That's where the overgrowth was, at the back. So it was a two-step VG. They had some decent ways to start it. It doesn't line up, and they really need all of that to line up.
Move stomping again. Yeah, he's going straight on that side. The move he got is well, he's a bit of a tanky tide hunter, and now PYW going to be forced to secret dive. Now he'll be fine again.
Oh,
yeah. So this is a pretty big pull for the side of SAG. Yeah. Well, he has the Fire Spirit flying in to try and knock him out, but that's not going to be anywhere near enough.
Dire's
Oh.
courier has been
It's just a slow dismantling. They keep trying to jump in and they keep trying to semi-group up. They need to group up tighter. Like, yeah, you're scared of perhaps Ravage. When it's on cooldown, the only thing you need to worry about is that Pita, and you know, it's not like all of you will become tight enough for the West Strike raid.
They try to heal it up, but it is almost certainly just gone.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
They continue. DD, for the try and scout out PYW. I believe they did spot him, and now with the Berserker, what they definitely do, it's just looking easier and easier for SAG. Just no competition here for these two games. Now they'll go refine. They have Stampede to initiate. No, they won't. And SAG happily back out.
Yeah, I mean, they've gotten a lot of objectives off the map. It is still fairly even in terms of the towers taken. Like, there is a slight advantage for VG with that tier 2 bot. With slight map advantage. They don't really have the gold to apply the pressure just yet. It's really all on Eurus, who has really not done much since getting that BKB. We thought pop once, the fight wasn't that great. Firing up for the Basher, I think that added control is going to help, but honestly at this point, I really don't think it's down to Eurus. I think you should really perhaps try to kind of get something going on Ori. The big power spike here with that Ags. We do see the booster pick up, so there is a slow build up there, and once that's up and running, the Zeus has just so much more presence in terms of contribution to these fights.
Out DD.
Oh,
Just
man.
finds a solo pick off onto Ori.
Dire's
Top lane looks like they are going to engage now. PYW there. Yang does get with the top of it. The top lane. Now the rapid comes.
Dire's top
I'm not sure if this is communication from Vici. I'm not sure what's going on. Like, they're really playing Eurus a lot of time, but how fat do you want Eurus to get before you're going to do something?
It's not going to be fat enough. That's the issue here. It's like everyone else is just so far behind, and even if you have this super fat troll, it can't compensate for having a weaker Centaur and a weaker Zeus. They're just not giving you enough. You have to carry that weight, and it's far too heavy of a weight. Now, VG still has potency. You know, like we haven't seen them do that DL team fight. Overgrowth egg. We have not seen the egg. At 27 minutes in, PYW has not expended.
Not a battle trance, not an egg.
Dire's middle tower is
I
under
don't know.
attack.
They're really waiting. They're biting. There must be a plan here for Vici. DD. That's the big. Don't they get it? In corner. Finding DD pops the BKB. The overgrowth comes in, and now Eurus going to join in. They can't save this lane. Oh, maybe they can. She'll be out of this. It will not be in time. She does go down, and now Red Panther. For her time, going to delay. He's a little bit. He's surrounded. DD. Getting overly confident on that laner. Feeling like he was just invincible the whole time. Gives a kill away, and that was actually a substantial amount of gold.
Dire's
Yeah, that's going to help cause a VG. And the great thing about that is Ori gets a massive boost from finding that one kill as well. So he's just about halfway through the Ags. And that's one of the key things VG has to wait out for. The Ags on the Zeus. And of course the Basher's already up in Eurus. So you've got that additional control, additional damage on the troll. He can just stand there and fight if he opted to. And SAE has to be careful about leaving kills like that way. They're not clumped up. They don't quite have Ravage, so this isn't the time for SAG to fight. They should kind of be careful. They don't have too many forward wards anymore. They've got that one lane ward, and that's it. They need more information on the map if they want to play that aggressive.
You were talking about the fact that the Ags is coming up soon. They got DG Gaming good. You're having an Eye of Skadi just about to pop up now for God King, and there it is.
There it is. Ooh.
The big item.
That really hurts the troll. Just that regen cut off. Like, man, you are not going to get that much value from your battle trance. I mean, something else you like talking about as well, like the Paladin swords up in God King, so they get the best drop you could ask for into Terribly.
Absolutely. PYW just gonna fly off them. See you, PYW. See you next time. Always appreciated how Sunray could just let you literally fly outside of the map.
Money to burn.
While TPing, mind you.
TP.
Like,
yeah.
It's ridiculous, and it does waste a bit of time, but I don't know, it's like VG's still waiting here, and we are reaching where even PYW should get a major item, saving up for the Shivas, so we get the tanker now. Nope.
Yeah, Stampede committed. They're gonna go for something here. It is a Ravage, and they have caught Ori. Buyback on PYW, which tells you they want to fight. Great BD just on the stun of Yang. Yang does really not want to die right now. Not like this. First to come out from DY. Again, just delaying things from the side of Vici. Yang really get away in time with that Sunray, and now Eurus looks to turn around. Use BKB. No, that'll be it.
It's that's a fairly even trade in the end, but the buyback from PYW does delay that build up onto the Shivas for him, and of course that leaves him about that. So it is a bit costlier for VG to find something there, but every kill they can get now is kind of worthwhile because even Rubik is just superiorly farmed up. Like Felix has 8k gold, that's higher than PYW. You don't really want to be that far behind as a Phoenix. But that's just the situation VG finds themselves in. And they're still not finding the ideal fights. Like, we saw the Overgrowth come out, but PYW never is having that position where he can just let the egg off on top of it.
They're gonna smoke up, but they may just run into Red Panda again. They actually figured it out. That's the one they didn't play, though. Time. Sunray will fly in as well. They did get the Abaddon, but they have more. BKB was actually popped on terrible. He doesn't have Metamorphosis. God King. He'll be alright. The walk egg will be chopped now by PYW. There's just so much hesitation from both these sides.
Yeah, it's... I mean, they finally get the egg off. That kill does give them the gem as well. So they've got the gem on PYW now, taken from the Abaddon. It should give them enough
now. Got that BKB on the Terrorblade done. You know you can fire. OP gone. Gonna go down. Europe, do you want to pop Battle Trance? Not quite. He doesn't even need it. God.
What?
Dyer's courier has been
Was he trying to go for an illusion play or?
I don't know. Does find Ori in the backline and also found PYW on the Phoenix. I think God King just thought he was dead, so he just stood there and took it. But he actually may have had a chance. At Sunder. Oh, he did too. Well, that's not good.
Oh, so strange. Just so strange in PG. After playing off from the back for a long time, it feels like they're back. They get to go into the pit. There is a Ravage one item. It doesn't feel like he's going to be up fast enough.
No, it does not. It's like Anna. Borrow time again. Stop. Just gonna hold him. Phoenix does take the stop, but it's not gonna really matter. Red Panda can definitely be so. Oh, it does matter. Double hoop stop coming out. And now DD with that Desolator damage DY. They finally find the Abaddon. Going onto the Lena. Nice first hit. Immediately pops out trans. With one attacks, it does get the kill. Now, not the time. But it is off from the turn. It's going to try and swap around. A Grey Ravage to come out. You have enough damage. God King doesn't look like it. It will pop as well. Eurus will survive throughout all of this. Just barely. And now Vici Gaming have essentially made it so the net worth lead is really not even there. It's only 1k the way of SAG.
Such a massive swing going the way of VG and SAG. They just kind of slip a lot. seeing Eurus being a massive driving force. It's the Satanic, just about 700 gold away. You don't have Ravage when your Tide respawns. So Roche is just not going to be under contention. And VG gets a lot more tools to play with. You even lose out in Metamorphosis on your TP, so when the defense comes, you won't have that tool in the Parablade. And that is the biggest weakness of this hero. You mentioned it from draft. In these downtimes, without that mate, God King cannot fight.
No, he can't. He may be strong, but only with meta. Very, very meta-based kind of hero.
Oh, Panda.
Yeah, he's gonna get caught up. Road time. Not really gonna help too much with all of them. Yang, in a bit of a peculiar spot, Felix does take that heat away from Yang. They really do secure this kind of trade, as it does work very favorably to the side of SAG. Yang has been caught out. Eurus, I don't know about this Eurus. Willing access to Mount Laguna. And you know, surprisingly enough, Eurus does survive. SAG, feeling like the team of Vici Gaming was right behind the troll, didn't want to deal with him.
I think that's a fair bet. Like, you still didn't have Metamorphosis up on your Terrorblade, so God King was not really in a position to fight there. Even though he is still pretty well equipped, right? Like, he has his MKB up and running on top of his Eye of Scotty, so the damage and the Pierce going onto Eurus would have been great. It's just that you don't want to risk it, and they already swung it all the way back. Like, VG certainly has a stronger foothold now, and SAG are aware of it. Like, they are tapering off a bit on DD, although DD's trying to hunt. VG truth.
He doesn't spot a Dustless connect, but he's in the trees again.
It was that tree baited out the Light Strike array in the wrong spot. So he does kind of waste time there. But that does mean that VG should be aware where SAG are. So they're in the spot lane. They're going to try to get the tier 2 push. They should have Metamorphosis up, and they do have Ravage up. So this is the time for SAG to force it out.
They are still fighting for Tornadoes. In fact, Stampede can be an Overgrowth is there, does catch out the Terrorblade. God King will be okay, will start running. And again, looks like they may just settle on Red Panda. He'll just take the Abaddon kill. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother chasing anyone else. It's fine. I'll take your support.
Yeah, it's you take what you can get. That does force SAG all the way back, so you protect your tier 2s quite well. But SAG still has the tools they need to take these fights. The Ravage was not extended. Metamorphosis is still ready to go. And I think SAG is just going to cut that loss, regroup, and try to fight in a more favorable area. It's just that SAG is still kind of lacking vision. They have that one ward in their jungle, but they do have control in the triangles. So Vici has to be careful walking into the triangle area, because there are wards there.
What is this game but maybe he's now going for a Divine Rapier. What is happening?
They're behind. They've huge, you know? It's like,
Vici Gaming hasn't even high ground yet.
I think they understand, though, that the Terrorblade does not have good timings late game. It's just so constrained with meta that you'd rather invest in Lina becoming that long-range menace. Like, she does damage, she has really good range, and she has great attack speed with her fiery soul. So it's something you can build up off of much easier and consistently in terms of not being constrained by a long cooldown. You know, it's just it's ready to go when it's ready to go. You are seeing tier 4 items pop out, and that is a really good turning point for SAG. They still have decent control on their jungle, so they can kind of get a spike here.
Eurus, you are by yourself, sir. I know you have the very, very confident play. He does not get punished for it. SAG, again, assuming he wasn't by himself, probably left him alone.
Ooh, the leveler going the way of VG. That is going to be so obnoxious in Eurus.
Okay, they do end up finding DYD again, just taking a solo pick off by himself. She Gaming had 3 Kane worth lead themselves. Aegis Inspire.
It's such a stark contrast, huh?
Aegis is going to be profitable for he needs to run out. He wants W. Just behind. Sunray going to be looking to join in again. It's Rip. Always going to go for the Abaddon. It's going to come out on the Phoenix. Now PYW. He'll be out of range. He's just fine. DD looping around, you know, trying to find the next time once. Yeah, the team's just not really willing to commit with him. He's gonna back up.
It's just a lot of patience from both sides. Neither side really having a proper thing there, and had to just wait out it. The next big fight probably going to see Burkout is next to the Roche Pit. That's the next safe objective for both sides, and considering how even it is, that's really it.
Gonna jump in, Red Panda. It is gonna be hard. Eagle does have Ravage at this time. It comes down to Yang, and there's the Ravage. He connects with the field of W. He don't go for the Phoenix yet. They want him again. He wants W. He had a failed discipline. Will cross. Eurus meanwhile found Red Panda and D with the Battle Transcendent. Oh no! Around the Terrorblade, they do find God as well. Eurus with a triple kill, and another messy engagement. It ends up panning out.
Oh man, there's no buyback SAG now as well. Like, out his plate mail for his AC, which was in a dead courier, so he's not even gonna have his AC up when he respawns. Courier's coming out after. He won't have Metamorphosis with him back up. This is a massive window for VG to just completely destroy one set of racks, maybe more.
Yang, don't slow people up. They go after the Rubik Eurus. He has an Abyssal Blade. They force the buyback out of the Lena as well. I just don't think you back off. There's no need to.
No?
He got jumps in for an anchor smash, runs away. Yang, fairly tanked now. He has the tracking code as well as his own AC. Armor. Yeah, 40 armor on that tank right now. That Desolator is doing literally nothing today. It'll be alright. Eurus looking to try and go after another tier 3. He really wants to get on that laner. She has no back. In fact, Yang jumps in. Nice force is there for DD to try and get away, but now they're big Eurus. He gets his bash, and it's not going to be enough. DD another hit. He might W the egg segment. Barely taking him out before he gets to the fountain. Now Hard King runs right into them. He does get a Sunder off, but it may not matter. The DY got the overgrown. It looks like it is only a pump for SND. God King does die with that goal. And that's it. GG is called. Gaming, the whole game looking to be behind, and it only took a couple minutes to the game's over.
SAG? The point was really when DB get caught out. That's when SAG started falling apart. They were set up
Radiant team pick.
Now to figure out what to do against it. Like, they've already got their support duos, so you already do lack that instantaneous lockdown outside of the overgrowth. You need to find another way of keeping that Ember in place, and they do go for the Storm response. So you've got the Storm Spirit versus Ember Spirit laning, and you do have a high mobility hero yourself, giving VG the same problems. They have to rely on a Slam or a Great Fisher coming out and follow up after to keep that Storm in place.
If I may though, it is still very early for a Storm to be popping out. Like, I agree that maybe you'd argue the lockdown is there, but you got the Ember Chains, you got the Fishy, you got the Ice Path, and you still got 2 more picks if Vici game. Still plenty of time to have a real proper counter to the Storm Spirit. Perhaps Sparking Arrow are just assuming that Ember is going to be run mid, but Vici Gaming also do have the option of running that Ember safe lane and choosing someone else mid if they felt it was necessary.
I don't think the laning matchup is too hard for either. We've seen this countless of times, and it really almost always boils down to basically a coin flip on evenly skilled players. So it's just down to how you position yourself in the first few waves. I love the response from VGO. You mentioned counter picks coming in. That's a really good way to keep the Storm Spirit in place. Necrophos coming out. Reaper's Sight is just so consistent, and sure, it's probably build a Linken's. It's not what you want to build first, and that does give VG a lot of leeway with getting that Reaper Sight off.
Well, one more pick for either team now. Sparking Arrow, the ones to make that first final pick. You saw the Bat Rider come out pretty much immediately after the Necrophos. They really didn't think about it at all. Into the Ember. And even the Necrophos, the Bat Rider is very nice. The Necrophos pretty much has an impossible laning stage. He is placed up against that Bat Rider.
Yeah.
It's really bad for a Necrophos if he has to lane up against the poor Bat Rider. So I love the fact that Sparking Arrow just spent no time thinking about it. And we're probably going to see a lot of lane switching going on when we do start the game, just to ensure they can get that kind of matchup.
Yeah, it's a great pick from SEG. I think one thing VG has to be a bit concerned about is, you know, we were talking about the Rubik since it came out, but picking Necrophos into Rubik is such a massive risk. It's so easy for the Rubik to steal the site, and suddenly your own team is going to be hurting because of you. It's just, you mentioned it, but it's such a good Rubik game. Shaker, Jakiro, and the Necrophos as well. I think the priority for SCG has to be getting some decent farm on that support Rubik so you can have an easier time reaching out for the spells. Have a fast Acre Lens. We saw that come out in game 1. It's so much more effective here, and ooh.
Okay, PA comes out, of course. There has been some ramblings about whether PA is actually good now with all the buffs it received in the last patch. But a lot of those buffs are late for the later stages of the game anyway, but there's definitely an argument now that it could be a pretty decent carry. Mind you, they are using PA into Ember Necrophos. Could be a bit tough in that sense, because it's Necrophos and Ember Spirit. Like, it's very hard to lock those two down long enough.
Yeah, not only that, but like even Necrophos can kind of avoid that burst damage from the PA just by going. So if the PA comes in, you don't have the backup of your Storm or Bat, you're gonna be hard pressed to really burst the Necrophos down.
Yeah. It's just not gonna be a good time. I suppose when you add the Bat Rider Storm to the equation, sure, she's gonna have a fine time in the team fights. Vici game definitely want to try to get some sort of safety ball that could deal with you rather easily. What will it be though?
Choose your hero.
Okay, choose the PA. She's gonna go for a battle fury anyway, more than likely, but it doesn't really, you know, make anything necessarily happen, right? It's not a guarantee that you're actually gonna be able to fight all those illusions anyway. So I like the PA pickup. It's just, I think it's gonna be way too hard for Sparking Arrow to deal with in this matchup.
Certainly it will be. The thing about a PA going up against PL, the Battle Fury build-up is just super slow, and that's the moment when the PA could be really strong. If you go for the fast Desolator instead, there's so many heroes to burst down. PYW can be a sitting duck, DY can't get into gun, and if you play your cards right, Yang is just gonna burst down as well. You don't have the best HP scaling. So it really depends on what SAG wants. Do they want to potentially match up against a fan? Want that to be an issue. If you just want to be done, you want the online fight, it's your right clicks to be effective with a clear ad. You'd be better off with just getting a lot of wave clear, and that is something that is certainly lacking for the most part on SAG.
We are going to have a quick reconnection from one of the SAG members.
I think that's a toilet break, actually. Water closet, if I recall, right? The Vici.
I thought I saw RC. Well, hey, thank goodness you're here, John, to really clarify what's going on.
It's not a... Fortunately, even though it's not a McDonald's, 1990s.
What? Why did you bring that up so often, John? I don't understand how this has become a meme.
It's the imagery, okay? It's just the sheer absurdness of the imagery. It's like the Boom ID copy pastas, you know? I love those, and they're just so absurd as well. It's like,
what's a surprise?
It's just hilarious. If you don't know what it is, it's an Australian thing.
It's not
I was just
even
looking
an
it
Australian
up.
thing, John. I don't even know about what you're talking about yet. It's just a thing.
Oh, you're saying I'm young. Thank you. I do appreciate that. I'll take it.
All right. You are young, John. You're not that old.
Well, relatively, sure. Amongst the two of us here, yes. Absolutely. Old man.
So, laning stage. Yang gonna sharp bot. So he definitely doesn't want to be up against the Batrider. He would much rather prefer the PA lane. It's one he can kind of deal with. Speaking of the PA lane, God King is currently just chilling out in the mid lane with his Storm. And just gonna kind of dance with DD there.
Yeah, just chilling out by their tower.
30 seconds.
We saw kind of, well, we saw VG kind of do this last time, right? Where they immediately went to the early Eurus lane swap. They're kind of holding out. They want those good lane matchup as well. And it does look like VG is a bit more ready. I mean, Eurus is leading towards the top, but not quite, so they do have a nice forward ward now. Like, this ward from SAG is going to spot out any sneaky moves, and of course allows them to creep cut if they wanted to. So there is that going on now for SAG.
God King gonna really stick around here in the lane. Just to help out with the block. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. Just making sure he does get a decent block off. God King gonna be careful to ruin the block of BD, and eventually will decide to run up towards that top lane. Like you said, they just want to ensure they have the right lane matchup here. Don't want to ruin this PA's lane and creep her game. Oh no, he's down in the mid lane up against DD, so you've got that settled. Yang hasn't really shown himself quite yet down the bot lane. In fact, Yang is already running up towards the top lane. And so both teams just waiting for the other one to make a move.
Yeah, it's a lot of time being wasted here. I mean, VG now knows where God King is. They've got that Obs ward. God King's dancing under it, so this does allow them to make an informed decision, although again, they're just kind of hanging back.
Everyone's mid lane, 5v5 mid.
Oh god, they're actually just jungling. Like, God King and OP are jungling. Eurus is jungling with Yang.
Okay, this I really haven't seen before. I can appreciate how important it's going to be to win these lanes.
Supports are getting solo lane EXP and farm. What is this?
They're going to farm the jungle jump. Not very efficient, but well, OP guys there with the snack farm does actually help quite a lot, and well, in fact, OP guys will take the farm on those smaller creeps at least. So, okay, they're just gonna keep jungling.
Wait, really? Like, I think they're just waiting for VG to commit to the lane, so they don't know where VG's at. They don't want to show, they want to have TP advantage, and your showing top should allow one of them to rotate to their preferred lane. That should allow them to find that matchup if they wanted to. And you missed out on a lot of waves. The supports are going to be much more of a threat in this lane than you'd expect.
Yeah, they definitely are. So now that Eurus does show top, we'll see the PA run top. Yang has gone down bot. Red Panda may actually die here, and the Fisher block wasn't great. It actually helped Red Panda survive. Bit unfortunate for the side of Vici game. They do miss out on the first block. Red Panda, you know, now he does finally get to be a support again, and well, he's already hit almost level 4 now on the Train Protector, so he is a really big support. But that helped the case. Say even Vici Gaming, right? Like, how far did Jakiro get? DY's at level 3, so.
Yeah, he's at level 3. He loses his courier with his brown boots. Really nice pick off from Felix. That just makes our Jakiro's laning presence a lot weaker for a minute.
Mid lane, of course, it's going to be a very even matchup so far. DD is slowly pulling ahead now, 17-4 compared to 14-5. So he does have a pretty big wave coming into T1, but DD really ensuring he doesn't allow him to farm in peace.
Yeah, it's been a good time for DD. He has been much more consistent with harass. There are windows where the Ember just can't fight back. Level 2 Flame Guard is nice, but Storm Spirits can still kind of burn through it with the Overload and the Stat Remnant, so not the best of times for Ori. Just kind of at that range disadvantage as well.
Funny, like I thought, looking back down a bot lane where Yang, I thought he would definitely just try to go back up top. You really don't want to be up against OP God, but he does stick around. It's not going to be a very easy lane for him, and he's already experienced that quite a bit now with that sticky napalm. In fact, Red Panda's taking it hard now because you've got this level 4 tree, and they're going to rotate in on you every single time he sees you. But Gaming are just going to sustain with this. In fact, P1W getting a little too aggressive here, but he does get a nice Fisher off. That'll stop SVG from really being able to capitalize on the Vici Gaming heroes.
Yeah, they still found the kill, so that's a nice little gold injection for SAG. But you're not seeing as much aggression as you'd expect. I think you're still happy with how OP's finding farm, though. I mean, Necrophos definitely slowed down a lot more than you'd want here.
God King could be in trouble. Eurus has joined D1, the Jakiro, but can't find Lance, so he will back out. Meanwhile, bot lane, P1 Red Panda got it, but Red Panda did manage to swipe away the bounty rune from PYW, so it does end up being a 3-for-1 trade on those bounties. So again, SAG just finding a little bit of a early on.
Yeah, it's just a lot of that is pretty open now being jumped.
He really should have no way out of this, but the TP could be enough. No. He does find it in time with the Static Remnant and the Overload hit. That's a big win for the side of SAG, just really slowing down Ori, but more importantly, speeding up the farm of GD on that Storm.
Yeah, it's almost like a reflection of game 1. Just Ori not finding the best laning matchup. It's a bit closer this time. You're still losing out massively to DD. Level 7 now on our Storm. Our Ember still has to hit that 6 mark, and before then it's just not an easy time for Ori.
Gonna chase down, but Eurus won't have enough damage. Now we have a rotation from DD very, very early on with an Invis rune, just looking to try and set pace here. In fact, they jump straight on DY in the backlines. That hero not going to survive very long. They'll actually ignore Eurus on the PL. And DD, he's going to stick around here where, while God King, where's he gone? He goes back to the fountain and may, in fact, unmit now.
Yeah, I think that's probably a better time for God King. Of course, you are going to be bleeding hitting stump space, or you have to be really cautious about the magic damage output. But this is, you know, fairly consistent farm for RPA. You just throw out the dagger, you don't need to worry too much. It's a nice distance away, and Ember shouldn't be able to reach you unless he commits his remnants.
I do like this SAG though, because both that were running around the map farming jungle for a while, they were really behind in terms of levels. So the fact that SAG is allowing the PA to take over the mid lane and get that solo XP, it may give them a pretty lead in this match up against Vici game, because you're not going to see the same happening for Yang. So Yang is already at level 5 to be fair, but you get my point. Like, SAG is just trying to find any little advantage they can going into this.
Yeah, and they really need it. Like, considering how far behind God King is in farm, he's actually behind a trend as well right now. You don't see the same situation anymore for VG. Their cores have managed to pull up despite that early time wasted. So there is still recovery to be done here for SAG.
Gonna try and go after the storm. They do get the chance. The DD should be fine. In fact, he does turn around now with God King. Worry has been jumped. Remnant forward, but it's so slow thanks to that stifling dagger. God King will just try and hit the Jakiro a bit, but we haven't hit that level 6 mark, so you are missing a lot of damage on that PA. Nobody ends up dying. Everyone survives.
Yeah. And just not quite at the point where both sides are completely comfy for these long drawn out fights. Rather unfortunate that DD was not in the healthiest mana pool to really force the shootouts. They missed out on some opportunities, was fairly low anyway. But you see a lane swap once more. God King dragged up top to try to find farm, but immediately disrupted by DY.
Well, it's very hard though, right? Like, you've got this Shakira that had so much lane XP by himself, and Shakira is already very lane dominant as a hero as it is, but we've got at least the same levels as the PA. It's impossible to try and fight back in the laning phase. Like, now God King's go to the jungle at level 6. It's going to be a very, very slow process for him.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I love this ward from BG. You're seeing that exact same spot by the ramp. Like, it's not even spotted out. It doesn't block the camp, so no one's to see anything, and this should give VG some information if they want to go for rotation down the line.
Back off! They also get that information as well, where they know they know he's bot lane OP God over come out, and that's going to ensure that they can't chase OP on the Batrider. They do have DD around the area on that storm, or he can spot him out, but if he wants to go for the fight, DD not so much. They are just going to stick those bottom batteries for the side. Gaming. Big DD going to try and kill off the this hero. It's not too hard to do though, but as it comes out with the jewel brand, I don't think it's going to be anywhere near enough to secure a kill on the DD. Perhaps if Yang was a bit closer on the necro post, but he was still climbing up. Frontal was back out once again.
And it's a slower pace of game, or at least the slower pace for VG is working into SAG's advantage, although not by much. It's not too much of a goal lead. They do have a 4-0 kill streak on their side, so most certainly really playing off the aggression, and that fight actually, but they're not finding as much farm you'd expect from these. Less than 1k advantage, you're still seeing issues with God King. That's the big takeaway here for SG, that PA consistently has had no space. Whether or not you force these fights, God King has just not been able to play cat. Working on power treads at 11 minutes in. Not a very good set of timings for our PA.
Yeah, and meanwhile, yours is getting very, very close to that defusal blade. He's gonna have a second pretty soon. Well, Vici, they've smoked up with all DY's going to be there as well as they want to jump OP, and he is definitely dead here. I believe Living Armor's there, but not enough. Ori, rotation on the Emperor, find a kill. SAG they have things they kind of need to wait for, right? Like you've got the PA, who's going to take a while, but more importantly, you've got DD on the Storm, who has been having a really nice time, but you need at least something like the Kaya to really be able to be aggressive in those team fights and not run out of mana so darn quick.
He is working to that. The progress is steady, and he's not doing that. Like, number 2 network is an okay spot. You're only behind the PL, who has basically turned to free farming now. Like, the pressure from SAG to keep this hero in place has not been there. They do have a nice aggressive ward to watch his farming pattern, so it's kind of like a mirror of the other ward. This does block the camp, so eventually VG's going to figure out that it's there and get the D-ward. Vulcan be expiring in a minute anyway.
Sorry. He's an easy kill on Felix. We'll just go ahead and try to secure it. The crew will be dropped. They just want the easy kill. And so it's there onto Yang, however. Yang, he does get the ghost form off, and now it builds up. And with the overgrowth quarter, it's going to be enough. Perhaps they still find yet. The Reaper sight just in. He's going to try and go on D1 now. He should be able to find the hero fairly easily, but D1 is making it as hard as possible. Now Fisher comes in from PW. They do get red and be a 2 for 3. And DD's out of mana. He seemed to know this. They're going to start charging full. Already has chains available once again. Also rotation now from Felix. He did die initially, but just respawns very quickly. Getting caught out. Now Ori's in a very awkward position, but I believe. Yeah, just remnants. But now how do you get out? His chains off, gonna go to the T. Play Felix, can you get left off? No. He didn't have it anymore.
The great set of kills going away, VG, all of it going to Ori for this. And what was one kill very early on turns in 5, and from that Vici's definitely reeling it back in.
I thought D1 was about to get away there in the mid lane. He is not. The flame to kill him off, so he got really happy with that. Very dangerous spot for him though. Eurus was rushing in, and had you had the defusal laid up, that would have definitely been killed that outright. And that's where it starts a little bit scary versus that PL. Like, even if it's not going to jump into these slots with defusal, you can't ever count him.
No,
you never.
It's so potent, and that is the fusel falling in now. So there you go. The damage is there from you if he chooses to join in. You compare it to the progression of God King. Like, God King has climbed up above the back right now at least, so they've given enough space for God King to recover. But you're looking at a battle period of maybe about 18 minutes at best, like an absolute perfect time. Or likely maybe 19 to 20 minutes for that battle period. And once that's up, of course, it could be back to final goal.
Chains, speed, but Felix again is under remnants already. How do you some this? Remnants away from Felix, now remnants away from Ori. You'll leave that D1 top tower to go down, because they already found the trade down the bot lane. But I do agree with this sentiment, John. Like, the farming game for SAG is just so much over behind. And again, it just feels like there's so much. You need to rely on PD so much for it to really carry your team for a while. And it's like, you've got the fire up, you're trying to go for a rock zone straight after that, but it's just going to be the fastest timing you've ever seen. Like, it's not necessarily bad, but it's not great.
No, definitely not. It leaves a lot of leeway for VG to just, well, super strong. And you can't say the same for SAG. They're gonna have to buy time. They don't quite have the big team fight setup that VG has potential for with the overgrowth egg. Instead, you're going to be relying on OP jumping in. Even have the blink yet. So they're saving up on the back for the blink, and when you have that, at least you can find solo pickups to action from VG.
D1 just casually going into the mid lane, trying to take the T1 tower by himself. Of course, moving armor is going to make it very hard, and now OP going to commit a passive for this kill on Shakiro. D1 will end up losing his life. You don't have lasso, so you play VG aggressive. You You do have a blink up on PYW on the Earthshaker as well, so they haven't revealed that yet. This might be the perfect time for Vici Game to go for a smoke. The other end of things though, you've got Red Panda now with the Meteor Hammer on the Train Protector. Be a bit careful about that.
Yeah, it's a super potent follow-up to the Overgrowth, so you've got a little bit more control there and a lot more damage. Of course, some consistent push if you get near Tier 1. That's something SCG can be worked around. They just haven't been in position to take bigger team fights on pickoffs.
Tower is under attack.
Gaming again, grouping up through that mid lane, trying to go off that C1 tower. Hitting armor continually to just lift it up slowly, but he look to try and secure it this time around. They're not looking at that this time.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
It's just such a slow process.
Yeah,
They might live in armor it again. It's not that slow, it's good of though. Ori, down Ori.
Tower has fallen.
Remnants available. In fact, he wants to keep going. Without that PA, it just seems they don't really have that burst potential yet.
No.
Really just get someone out of the team fight.
Yeah, it's is going to be on the low end for the battle time, so maybe about 8.5 minutes or 19. So it's not as late as you'd expect. It's still kind of decent considering that the rough laning start, and you do see God King pull up to number 2 in that fort, so he's managed to recover. It doesn't compare to the PL, and Eurus is just going to use this time to constantly farm up. Now, once the Battle Fury's up, it should accelerate for God King, but by then, Eurus should at least have his ultimate orb at that point, and of course, it's from the Manta, then you're looking at the PL with a lot more stats and a lot more dodge potential with that Manta illusion. Oh.
Oh no. He's gonna be there with the Spirit Vessel. He does have creeps to blink to, so he will get there just in the nick of time. Or he has remnants, although nice keep from God King, but he will not make it. That Slider Fist just in the last milliseconds. The mid lane, there is a jump now. It's gonna be Europe, it'll be a massive pick-off, but they just can't get it in time. Rotation now, Ori jumping in with a double chain. Echo, PYW takes down Peacock. Red Panda does commit overgrowth with the Meteor Hammer and will hold it back a little bit, but there is a remnant and he doesn't need it. He just Slider Fists. Vici Gaming suddenly have a 3K net.
Just off the back of some pretty good kills there. Like, you would have thought after losing PA, you'd play a bit more conservatively. They still try to force the issues out. You're not going to have overgrowth when your treant respawns, so you're not going to have that opportunity for team fights. You don't find a kill on yours, even after losing your PA. So it's not a trade. And, you know, that Battle Fury is not going to be... It's up and running on our PA, but now our PL has that ultimate orb and... not 40 gold. He's basically had it. So you have... all there, and you just can't burst this guy anymore.
B1 getting poured out, bot lane, just it's his macro pump. He does his job. Like, Eurus is now easily able to take that bot because he's got C1 power. And unfortunately, with the side of SFD, they can't go for the bottom T1. Their wave was cleared out by that macro. But he want more than happy for that. Can you just drag out this game? He does have the full man.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Find OP God. He is running into them right now. He just turn around. Big jump. It's going to be on the wrong side, but PYW said screw. And with Reaper's Scythe, they will have enough.
Yeah. Really good pick off there. They rely on Bat for the blink to find easy targets to pick off. Without that, there's just no potential for big counterplay. Although Overgrowth is up on Red Panda, so they have it going for themselves.
Chains. Ori just jumps in straight as the macro was coming out from Felix. And that's lucky he crossed the macro pipe before he done. Now Red Panda, and Meteor Hammer gonna give it off the Ember, and now spin to the Eagles from DY. Nice palm, and Ori should go down the stars. But now PYW jumps in, he does get DD. And God King.
Radiant structures are fortified.
probably meant that he belongs to be farming, but he just felt the necessity to have to help his team in his presence. Well, it could be for now, because he does jump to Yang, but Yang just transforms now. Panda has to hold between him. He's gonna...
SAG just kind of streaming in one by one to the fight. Like, they've already lost. They still try to man up instead of just doing more things off the map. The only hero doing that is really OP, who goes down bot and shoves it in. But that was time for the PA to farm. You mentioned it. Like, God King should have been farming up to try to match up. So he's just still falling a bit more behind. VG now, even after losing Ori, are set to have a good timing on that axe, on the Ember.
Oh, Baron.
Become feast for the flesh.
Oh.
Getting poured out. Very, very hard team right now. They're caught up in the top lane. If you want, don't care if you don't with Jakiro.
Oh no.
You may lose the storm. He has no mana.
Oh no.
PYW has the echo with the control. They get the storm and they're gonna DA and then this consolation prize on top of all that. Felix does take the Fisher, is gonna run for his life. There's no reference available on Ori's. Maybe he does get away and yeah, he will. You lost your storm. As a Ruby, you'd rather just play yourself.
Oh yeah, it's they're the two biggest targets you could lose out on, depending on DD to give you the snowball. He just finishes Bloodstone, so it's down to 12 charges as well, and your PA have no progression beyond that because they've been too busy.
Lasso's gonna be there on the Earth Spirit. Oh, Shaker, excuse me. The Fisher, they're gonna have enough. When I saw that Lasso come out, I thought there's not gonna be enough damage, surely. You haven't got the storm yet. Yeah. Didn't end up being enough. Problem is you lose the bottom. He just really enjoys going after TY. Eurus is there, however, DD. Oh, wait, don't know. He has the chains and the Spirit Vessel, and now the mana all gone. Eurus is getting very close to a half jump.
That's terrifying. You can't feel
rolled off a half.
There's no way this PA with BKB Battle Fury can face up against that Phantom Lancer. That kind of timing. Once this hard. And that's really the key issue with SAG. They went for this PA pick, they went for the farming prioritization rather than fighting. And they can't even find that. Now OP gets chased down.
Fisher. Yeah, he's trying to create space for his team.
Look into my eyes.
You know you're gonna die if you do that, but you just have to do it. There's just no other option. Mod King needs at least KB, but even then, you're just there right now.
Oh.
Mod King's gonna run out of that quick, but he's and man pump, and now the ice park is out. Eurus gonna back. He's just scared of that storm, and he was right to be scared. The Zipin is complete cell confidence done. Yeah, say thank you very much. Take that and down the ice park. T1's just perfect. OG there with the medium hammer, but
the GG he quits. Oh man.
Well, how is he gonna come back, John? They're 14k behind. Who has a hard coming up? He's just had enough.
That is fair. But SAE, man, just a sweet dismantling from VG. It looked like they had a bad time. They were stuck at 4-0. For the first, 5 to 10 minutes, they were super behind in kills. But the network was never climbing from SAG. And VG, again, making use of those smallest
看来就是老干爹它是一个比较偏拖后的阵容啊，他们这个前期要 TB 来才能推塔，只能推1塔这种的。然后 IGV 就看起来像是一个推进4保1啊，前4手3个推进点，然后幻影长火手做一个后期的保证，选出来也是因为对线确实没那么怕海绵的这个封路，然后打到后边，觉得这盘也能发挥。 但他们节奏还是要偏快的，先知 DP， 这个前面最好推塔推的早一点，然后让 DP 这个刷新的空间小一点。讲道理，这盘 TB 打到后边还挺烦这个幻影长矛手的。
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. 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 Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Stupendous! Tribute to my house.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's top tower has fallen. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Here I am!
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Regeneration! Cool. Stupendous! Over here! Over here now! Whoa, what'd I miss?
tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
No whining now.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire structures are fortified. Radiant's top tower is falling. Stay near. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's turret. Radiant's bottom tower. Radiant's bottom tower is falling. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Regeneration.
I deserve this.
Zap.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Here I am. Zap. Whoa, what I missed? Zip zap.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is falling. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I've been wanting this.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
Stupendous!
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle barracks have fallen. Radiant's top tower is under attack.